So we're going to get on to our will it run for this thing, or we'll hear it run for the first time at least. We know it's going to run first, right? I hope so. Well, it's always a chance, isn't it? Brand new engine. Before I do that real quick, I wanted to talk to you guys real quick about that. Something I left out of the other video. You guys are watching the 74 build. I know you guys are interested in building a 74 stroker, whether it's a 90.5 or a 85.5 opening in your case, or even if you go 94. I wanted to go over that piston to show you the sides of the piston, so you can kind of see if you're somewhere where you can't see another piston, you can at least look at these and figure out how to do it. Plus, another thing another guy was interested in is this engine. On my engine stand video, if you look up my engine stand, you'll see how that we built that, okay, with Harbor Freight. But you'll also see at the end of that one of these. So if you want to check that video out, want to check that one out, this is basically an engine case, an old engine case. A lot of times you can go to a transmission shop and they take apart a lot of core engines, and they end up with a lot of extra cases like that, a lot of these extra cases, and you can make one of these yourself. There's more information on that on that other video. So first of all, you would need, if you're going to do one of those 85.5, I'm going to show you the back side of this so that you can see. This is what the 90.5 looks like. This is a 92, but it looks just like this, but it's a little bit smaller. The skirts are the same length as these, and you can see like that. They're a quarter of an inch shorter, maybe. So, what you do is you get a gram scale, strip the piston down, take the pin out, take all the rings out of it, and measure, and then number all your pistons. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the reason you do that is because number 1, you're going to put the weight on a chart that says number 1 is this weight, number 2 is this weight, number 3 is this weight, number 4 is this weight. Okay, and then that's what you weigh in before. Okay, and if you stay in the tolerance that it is at that point, so let's say they're 2 grams apart or whatever, highest to smallest, you'd probably be okay staying there. If you want to get them tighter than that, you can, or if you want to look up the specs on that, I would recommend that too. But if you're going to do one of these, you shave down these. You're about to do most of your work right here. But if you needed to correct the weight of the piston, you could take a little bit off of here, because if you look, they're actually, let me turn them another direction so you can see. They're actually shorter here too. So, you know, but you don't want to get too far close to the pin. But I've seen other pistons where they drilled around the edge. You can see in there, there's like a crisscross pattern in there. Let me see if I can get it light. A little crisscross pattern. Trying to get the light right for you guys. Around the bottom, right there, that little crisscross pattern. They drill little holes in there, but don't go very deep. You should know exactly. You're going to have to get a caliper if you're going to do that. You have to get a caliper and check the thickness of the piston and make sure that you're not going to take anything out you don't want to take out. But that's where they usually take the weight out of it. You could actually do it here a little bit. You know, if you're trying to get the weight to be even, if you can get enough out of there, you know, you can do that. So those are things that I've seen done before by someone else. Now, the thing is about, I think, and I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that these pistons are actually heavier than these. So even though they're bigger, because if you just look at how they're made, they have a lot more things inside of there. They create weight. So the performance ones are lighter weight, and these are Mall A's, so they're not, you know. A's are almost the same. I think they might even be lighter, but we don't know for sure. I haven't measured, weighted them. But anyway, we'll get on with the will it run. I just wanted to show you guys that so you can kind of get an eyeball of what you're looking at. If you can see that, you can pause the video and see what the difference is. Let me get down to another angle. You can see the height. It is about 1/4 of an inch shorter. So you can put them on the crankshaft, run them around, make sure they're not, you know, touching. Make sure that the weight between them is even, and do that by the chart. And your before and after on each piston and show how much weight you took off of it using the gram scale. So that's how you guys do it. So anyway, you can drive. Hey, you know what? You'll probably be fine if you did it yourself. Don't be afraid. Why not try something? I think I forgot to mention one thing we were in need of on this engine was we needed this tube right here, and they have these. They have these at the parts store, but really all it is a flared end on this end here, flared end like that. You see that? And then the other end, we put a washer on it so it doesn't fall through. And the other end is just cut off. And what we used as an alternative is a lot cheaper than the Volkswagen shop is this brake line, which is steel brake line. So you can buy this. Look at, I can make what, 3 of those out of this thing. And I mean, this is a quarter of the price for this than it is for the regular tube you buy from the Volkswagen shop. So, and also what size is this one?
It's 5/16.
5/16 works about right for that. 5/16 brake hose, brake line. And then we got the 7mm.
It's
quarter inch brake line for the fuel hose. So, and it's steel, just like the original was. It has a coating on here that's nice, and they do work well as an alternative for these things if they're missing on your engine.
On the inside too. They got copper coating.
They actually have copper coating on the inside, so it's probably superior to the original. It won't rust and stuff like that because it's meant for brakes. Remember, brakes are pretty important stuff. So that is a great alternative for you guys who are looking for that, little things like that. I'm going to throw in this video, so I want to watch the whole thing. Alright, so we're going to give her the first crank real quick before we put the plugs in. I'm going to crank it over. Let's listen to it. Got what, 40 pounds on crank. Pretty good. Alright, we know we got oil up and everything. So always do that before we wake it run. Let's just see. Oh, one other thing I was going to show you guys. Again, I said I'm going to do different little segments in here about stuff. You want some cool ventilation hose? This right here is from Gates. Alright. You get this at O'Reilly Auto Parts, especially if you have a commercial account. I have a commercial account at O'Reilly, but if you know somebody does, you can always go into your local O'Reilly. And they have this stuff that's so much better. The last time I got it, I got the regular stuff at the Volkswagen shop. And, I just got it because I was there. But I like to use this one. This stuff is so much better. It doesn't kink. It takes the heat better. And it's Gates. You could look up this part number here. Maybe you could even buy it on Amazon. I'll let you guys look at that and see if it focuses in. Oh, ISO. There you go. Try and write some of that stuff down. See if you can find that. This is for transmission. What's that? Cooler. So it's 1/2 inch transmission cooler line. Works great for the oil cooler. If you don't, some of you guys are buying the braided stuff, that's really expensive. If you don't have that budget, then this is a great way for your breather box. All right, so just real quick before we do our fire up here while you're putting the plugs in, we do our crank over with the plugs out. It's nice on the engine. Sometimes we have the plugs in, but you don't want the engine to actually start because it can crank up RPMs before it actually builds up oil pressure. It's just a little easier on the brand new parts. But on the jetting, I know we're going to be a little off, but what we do is we go to aircooled.net and look up this kind of carburetor. They have a lot of cool resources on there, and they have like a benchmark jetting for this. So if you're wondering where to go on it, that kind of helps you to get a baseline, and then you're going to have to, we actually one-upped their jetting because we know we have performance parts in here and higher compression stuff than what they actually baseline it on. So but let's see if it maybe gives us a little closer jetting, and you know, that's where we got our other jetting from the other engine, and it seems to run pretty good on that. I mean, the start, but we've already richened it up a little bit from there. So just a little tidbit for you guys trying to run with these progressives. Make your comments on that, please. Help you out, maybe help the video. All right, so let's make the plug wires on backwards. No, let's just see if it's gonna. Yeah, it'll pow pow pow. No, let's see. What are your comments now? You can make a comment of what you think the engine's gonna do, how it's gonna run, or if it's gonna start right away, or if it's gonna delay like last time. And then you can always reply to your own comment, saying, "Oh, I thought it was gonna do that, but I was wrong." Blah blah blah, and that kind of helps be fun for you guys who are just first watching the videos. And it also, again, those comments really help the video, so we appreciate you guys that contribute and make any comment of any kind. It does help the video. Thanks. So we did have our static timing set, but our distributor was loose when we did our crank over, and it actually turned it, so our timing is going to be a little off. We'll get the light out here in a minute. All right, so here's the moment. Let's see. God, let's hope it runs. It's pointed to it already? I know you're sparky. Look, hear it. But, yeah, we got spark. Yep. Lots of blue stuff. Now the question is, are they going through the cap into the...
Probably not.
We do have a Chinese rotor in here right now, so...
No, that's a...
Was it a good one?
No.
Old Bosch?
Yeah.
We have an old Bosch on here, so who knows? I don't know if it's good or bad or not.
On a second.
They were out of rotors when we were down there. Now we know timing is retarded.
Alright.
Retard. I can just take it, turn it up a little more. Right there. Maybe really retarded.
Redrop that distributor in.
How far off is it?
We'll find out in a sec.
We got a cross wire? It happened. Yeah, I think I got a cross wire over there. One's crossed. Somebody put the spark plugs in wrong. Here's
Good job, Mike.
it's backwards. Here, like this one's number one, the top one, right? And this one's number one here. You're pulling on what? Wait, pull it again. Is that one I'm pulling? Is this one?
That's one.
Okay, that's one. We're not crossed? Okay, no, we're not crossed. Double check. Maybe it's, what's that 3 and 4 back? I knew one was crossed. I could tell by the way it was popping. That's what happens when you use these stock things, right? Okay. So we're going to bring you back in. We're going to let it run for like 20 minutes. Put some revs on this thing. Check it out. Got 20 minutes of cam brake in. Howdy guys, check this out. Running for a couple minutes and puking oil like a mad dog out of the rear main. Looks like maybe. Looks like we're going to have to put it back up to the stand, take it apart. Can't even get it through brake in. This is reality. I mean, this is what happens sometimes. We don't know really what's wrong with it yet, but we'll take it apart. We'll let you know. Check it out. Now that's a leak. I think I know what the problem is. We had the flywheel off this thing like 4 times, and Chris thought I put this on, and I thought he put it on, and guess what was sitting on the shelf? The rear main seal.
Seal for 5 minutes.
Who's ever done that? I don't think we've ever done. That's a first, isn't it? I've never done it before. I've never done it before either.
I've seen it tons of times.
Hilarious, but you know, that's how much oil came out. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, I would think oil just would have ran out of it as soon as we filled it up with oil. But doggone it, that son of a gun still built oil pressure up and everything without the rear main seal. It's missing. Comedy. We'll take it apart and show you. We were just talking about this, and you know what? We had the rear main seal. We had the shims off so many different times. That day we took it off. We had to take it down to get it machined. We came back, and just there was so much going on with taking the flywheel on and off that for some reason we left that day, and the next day came back and forgot to take the flywheel back off and put the seal on.
It's important to finish the job before you go
Great.
home.
Yeah, you want it. It was late at night when we were done finally. It took us like all day of going back and forth to the parts store, getting stuff we needed for the in play. So, because we had to take the flywheel down and get it machined, you know, and I told you, and then I get a paper shim, you know. It was a big long thing on the put it in, and this just got forgotten. That doesn't usually happen, but it's just reality. That's what happens. See, this is serious. This is it. I'll show you guys firsthand. Get that flywheel off there. Let's see what's behind flywheel number 1, right? I know it's not there. Hold on, pry bar. Hang on a second, guys. Put the nut back on so it doesn't fall off. I'll let you guys get to see firsthand. No seal. That's what happens when you're at the end of the day. You've already had a long day of doing that, and we just didn't finish the job that day. It was time to go home. There it is. Look at that. No seal. What a mess. All right, we'll get that back on, fix it up, show you guys how it runs after. Let's do a restart. The second will run with the oil. Well, with the oil. Rear main seal on there. Yeah, we did check the oil too, by the way. Look at the leak. Sorry about that. I've been having trouble with my camera lately. We're running again. This run for 20 minutes. Put the cam brake in again. We'll bring you guys back in and we'll do some revs on it. Check it out. The reason we put the fan behind it like that, somebody said something about that in the last video, and the reason we do that is because all the air seems to coagulate in the same area, and it starts recirculating back the hot air back into the engine. So what that does is just kind of blows away the hot air. So it blows the hot air away from the engine just like it does when you're going down the road. So that's all. That's why we put it there. It's not to cool the engine. The engine's cooling itself, but it kind of blows that hot air that the engine's making away from it. Well, so we're after our 20-minute warm-up, and this is how it idles. Nice and smooth. A little bit of cam action you can hear there. Jetting's a little off though, so we got a little bit of a jetting's got a little dead spot. So this linkage gets jammed in here. You see the little linkage speed. So we have to kind of, once we get it in the car, then that'll work itself out. But we definitely need to take the carb off and dial in the jetting a little bit more. 70 pounds at idle? Or 50? 50. A little clanky. It sounds like we need to adjust the valves again.
Yeah. Whenever it just pulled up,
Yeah.
you ran that.
We just got done, you know, once you run the break-in time, I noticed the valve's a little loose. Sounds like there's probably one that's a little tight. Maybe we just got a little idle problem. Maybe we'll adjust those and bring you guys back in a minute. Alright, so let's take a look at it. See if we adjusted the valves a little bit. Check the timing. Did we check the timing?
Yeah, we checked it earlier.
We never checked it.
30,
So,
20 degree full advance, we checked that.
Yeah, no, it's 30,
28, 29. Oh, 29.
Yeah. Anyway, it sounds good. So we gotta adjust the carburetor. The jetting needs to be worked out. Sounds pretty mean. For a 2-barrel, I think it's like a good combination right there, even with this car. It's really fun to drive. Really responsive. With that cam, it's like a really good combination of a lot of things. Get that little bit of rumpity idle. Dead spot, it's all jetting. Some guys tell you that they say that you need to run it back in the jet distributor. That just masks the jetting issue. So to get the jetting right, you shouldn't have a dead spot. A little bit lean on the primary and maybe a little too rich on the secondary. Smelling some hydrocarbons, so I'm thinking just a little bit. It's like, but if it's too rich on the secondary, which I noticed it gets some black smoke as soon as you hit the secondary. So if it's too rich there, it's like trying to transition the wrong way. That's at 1100 RPM idle. 1100 RPM idle. So we think it's a little bit rich, a little bit lean on the primary and a little bit too rich on the secondary, and that's why it has a transition problem. We're going to work that out. It'll take a little bit of time, you know. Jetting these is a little tricky. But again, remember, if you go to that, to get a baseline, you go to aircool.net. That helps you kind of, I guess they have some stuff on these carburetors that's pretty cool. Give you a baseline so you can get started somewhere. Because they come, I think they come in when you unpackage like a new one or something like that on the new car, the new ones, they come with the jetting all backwards. So you have to take it apart, and when you buy if you buy one of these carbs new, this is the old one with the 2627 or 26. What is it? 2627. Yeah. 2627. And it's not the same as the new ones that are 30. They're 32, 36. On my bigger engine, I think I'm going to switch it over to 32, 36 if I can find one at a swap meet. I really don't want to pay the price for a new one, but we'll see.
I guess with all these videos out there, everybody's going to be grabbing these things at the swap meet. But they don't know how to jet them yet. That's the thing. Once you start playing with that, people get frustrated with it, and they don't finish it because they don't know, you know. But you can see that's that Web 86 cam. And that's got a, you know, it's got a little bit of a rough idle. It's not, you know, it's a pretty aggressive cam, but it's not overly aggressive, you know. If you go too big, you can lose power at the bottom end, and this one should be really strong bottom end. We'll see when we get at the car. So come back for the test drive. I'll do a before and after in the van with this engine. So I'll do a drive in it before, we'll put the engine in it, we'll go for a drive after, you know, after we get some jetting issues worked out, and then we'll see how it goes. You know, it'll be after the first of the year, but we'll talk to you guys in the next video. Make sure you make those comments, and like, share, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Talk to you in the next one.